Haha! Alright, guys. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. From here on out, I just want to let you guys know this podcast was filmed before this, but me and Pat have changed, kind of not fully changed the style of the podcast, but we're going to make some changes to it. So what you can expect from here on out is one episode every Tuesday, no matter what. I will be on the podcast. Pat will be on it as my co-host. We will either be talking about current events in skiing, action sports industry, whatsoever, or we'll have a guest on. When I am doing the podcast by myself and I am hosting the podcast, especially with how busy I am, and also trying to find higher profile guests, like some people that would be I don't know, let's go big. Let's shoot like a Hall or Henrik or something like that. Like obviously that's going to take a little bit of time, but we're aiming for guests like that on the podcast. So to get guests like that on the podcast, it's kind of hard to coordinate with everybody's schedule. So I can't do a guest episode of that high profile every week. So me and Pat are going to fill the rest of the week with episodes of us talking about skiing, talking about the industry, whatever else comes by. And then there'll be guest episodes here and there, and we'll answer your questions and all that awesome stuff. I just wanted to be consistent every week with the podcast, and then hopefully 1 to 2 guest episodes a month. So you guys can expect that and look forward to that. This episode is about X Games Aspen, everything that went down. Obviously, I'm uploading it quite late, guys. Sorry about that. I wasn't sure if I was going to upload it because I was living in Whistler on a couch for this month when X Games Aspen happened, and I didn't have a really good podcast set up. Most of my stuff's not working. My mic wasn't working, so that's why you hear the audio a little off. And the camera died like a little early near the end, probably like 10, 15 minutes before the end of the actual podcast, maybe more like 20. So I'll fill in the blanks at the end. But I figured I might as well upload it anyways because some of you guys are going to want to hear our thoughts on X Games Aspen, X Games Real Ski. Me and Pat have already filmed, and we're editing that podcast right now. That'll be up, I guess, next Thursday. I might put it out earlier so you guys just have something to listen to. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this one. I'll fill in the rest at the end that we missed. But it's going to be good. So thank you guys for everybody who listens to the podcast up till now. I promise you they're only going to get better and better and better. We have a podcast editor now, Hayden, Mr. Hayden. He's doing it for free and just helping us out. So you guys say thank you to him, okay? He's the man. And with that being said, let's get into it. All right, incoming Pat Bone. What's up, dog?
I was downstairs microwaving some soups.
Okay, well, we are live on the podcast, so I'll cut that part out.
Oh, we already started.
Well, dude, I wanted to get the nice natural flow of the convo that we usually have because we have some pretty good combos without that audio recording. So, dude, check out the podcast app this week. I'm on Zach's bed. We got the computer there, and the camera's hidden in the closet. So it's at like eye level. I can talk to it. It's the worst setup, but it's gonna work. Anyways, I'm munching licorice down my hole right now. So
Was that what you had for dinner?
Licorice, yeah. And Zach's been making like Japanese dishes and curry and stuff. And bro, my chopstick abilities have gone through the roof. I've tripled them, dude. I'm gonna be able to catch a fly by the end of this trip. That's my goal.
Is that how you like trim your pubes now with your chopsticks? You're like, oh, let me get that one out. It's red. I don't want that one.
It's not red. I don't have random ginger pubes hanging around. Oh god. But that would be pretty cool. And
Yeah.
save the Manscaped issue. Dude, the Manscaped stuff, I've been using it pretty good.
Oh, speaking of which, I get charged by a razor today. Anyway, this is not relevant for X Games.
Alright, so guys, today, on today's episode of the podcast, we're catching up with Big Patty Boy, the co-host. You guys love him and know him. I love him and know him. And, we even spooned a couple times, so it's pretty good. Anyways, also, I bought a huge bag of gummy bears, which was really good the other day. Anyways, so the plan for this podcast was to talk about X Games. X Games just happened. X Games Aspen. No crowds, COVID. I have a question for you. I don't know if you know this, but are they doing X Games with like snowmobiles and all that stuff anymore? Because I haven't seen it, like any Winter X recently.
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
You got the computer machine with you? I'll pull it up. Yeah, because we were trying to figure it out. Like, if anybody else is listening to this podcast and they know, like, please let us know. But yeah, I was really confused by that.
Is X Games still a thing? It's yes, it is.
Anyways, X Games went down this weekend.
Winter X Games in Aspen in 2020 were attended by 111.5 thousand people. Oh god.
That was last year.
No snow. Oh, here we go. Hang on. I think it's back
No more snowmobile?
Yeah.
Snowmobile got evicted. What else was in Winter X
No
Games?
fans, no snow bike either. They did those like dirt bikes with the temporary sled kits on.
Yeah, and they used to do snow cross, and they used to do freestyle snowmobile. And they used to do a bunch of sick events that aren't happening anymore in snow, which is kind of a bummer in my opinion.
Sticking with only the skiing and snowboarding events,
Yeah.
meaning say such as snowmobile and snowbike contest will not take place.
That's
Apparently it's
super
because
lame.
of the pandemic, so hopefully.
Oh, it's like only because of the pandemic? That kind of makes sense. Dude, the boys are listening to...
That's the Canadian Motocross News Network.
Nice. Zach has never watched Step Brothers, so he's in like the other room watching Step
Are you
Brothers.
kidding me?
I know,
I
dude.
just met like 3 people in my class who haven't watched Step Brothers.
We need to like
One
hit
of them
these
said
people.
that his shoulder was sore, and I said, you know what, it's your shoulder, and he didn't know what I was talking about.
Dude, I just watched that. If you lick my ass. Oh, classic. Classic.
That's like the best line of the movie. You know what cures a sore shoulder? I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's up there.
It's up there. There's a lot of good ones from that movie, man. It's a solid flick. Anyways, yeah, let's stop talking about dirty things in Step Brothers and let's dive into this because this is gonna be a quick pod for you listeners. X Games this weekend happened, popped off. It was super sick. There's a bunch of different events. Judging could have been contested by some people and other people, but I thought overall they did a pretty good job. Snowboarding on the most part, I watched Big Air, I watched Slow. Actually, I didn't watch Big Air. I watched some clips from Big Air, watched Slow, but missed Snowboard Halfpipe.
What Big Air did you watch?
Not Snowboard Big Air. Did you watch Snowboard Big Air?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah. And anyways, yeah, my sister competed in X Games this weekend in both slopestyle and Big Air. She got second in Big Air, third in slopestyle. Super proud of her. It was a gnarly weekend. Eileen Gu absolutely killed it. She went off. I actually slid into her DMs recently to ask if she could come on the podcast. She said maybe at the end of the year she's not too busy. So we're making money.
End of the year. It is
end of the season. The season, okay. Yeah. She said she's busy the next month minimum. So you know,
let's
you
talk
can
about this
imagine.
from the start. We had women's snowboard slopestyle, which I did not watch.
I did watch women's snowboard slopestyle. They were very.
Jamie Anderson won again.
Jamie Anderson won again. She did a really good job. Lori Blewin and a couple other girls. I don't follow snowboarding super closely, but
what
they were
happened to
good.
Anna Gasser? I thought she was supposed to be doing.
She was just doing too hard of a run. Like if she landed, she would have. Yeah, if she landed, she would have won for sure. She was linking 2 doubles. Lori Blewin was linking 2 doubles on a slope course. For girls, that's pretty sick. Like to do back-to-back doubles on a slope course. That's. I hate to say it, but that's quite above what the girls are doing in freestyle skiing on a slopestyle course. Yes. No, I wasn't gonna say above their pay grade. It's just a higher level of trickery, maybe above their pay grade. Who knows? Anyways, a lot of the girls were having troubles with that quarter pipe. I saw one girl almost eat it to her dome. It looked like they were having speed issues, but like not super gnarly speed issues. Just like not really getting the right line to carry enough speed. Anna Gasser absolutely snapped off and had a sick run. Or not Anna Gasser, Jamie.
We had women's ski big air.
Women's ski big air.
Megan got second, didn't Mathilde got first, and Aline got third.
Yeah.
Aline really dropped the ball compared to her other X Games performances on the big air.
Dude, she was so close to having a 3-peat gold on her first X Games goal. Dude, if she got the right up 12 mute stomped, she would have won. I'm calling it.
Yeah, but she's 4 point. No, I don't know, man. Mathilde had like a lot more. Mathilde got a 91 and Aline got a 73. That is a large difference. Switched up 14 is pretty hard to tell. Megan was a
yeah. The difference is that you don't have to spin 2 different directions this year. So if she did have to spin 2 different directions, Aline definitely would have taken the cake with the right dub 12. If she stomped the right dub 12, she only ended up doing a right cork 9 Buick grab, which is pretty sick to be honest, because I haven't seen a girl do that grab before. If she did stomp the right dub 10, she probably would have had second or 12. She probably would have had second, maybe not first. You might be right. And then Megan came in and she did dub 12 textbook safety to the tranny, not to the tranny, but like very deep. And then a nice switch 10 mute, little inside information. Knew she wanted to do a switch 14 mute. Didn't happen. She did get a little skirty 12. I think she said when I talked to her last, she said the speed was like really slow on the yeah.
She went huge on the 12 and then.
She's also a little mini Meg and she doesn't carry a lot of speed. She weighs like
10 pounds.
maybe even less, dude. she's not a unit by any means. And then obviously, like you said, Matilda, dude, dropped the switch 14, switched up 10 blunt, which was sick because a lot of the girls were just doing safeties. It wasn't like the most capped blunt ever, but like it was still a blunt.
One thing I noticed a lot of this year was safety grabs. Like honestly,
a lot.
And then like Andre Regatta did mute grab, and almost I'm trying to think, he might have done one trick that didn't have a mute grab. Just rail run. Switch
every
up, Misty 10 mute. Switch left up, Misty 10 mute. Left up 10 safety to a mute.
Every trick he did in his slope run, the 3 doubles he did in his slope run minus the last hip one was all mutes, and then the last hip one, I think he did dub 14 tail, but he kind of whiffed the grab. Dude, honestly, like the men's slopestyle was very.
We're coming ahead of ourselves here, to be honest with you. I mean, if we're going,
you want to go back? You want to stay back on the women's snowboard or ski?
No. We're done with women's ski big air, but if we're doing schedule wise, we're still on Friday, and next week's.
Oh, we're going schedule wise. All right, I like this.
Oh, yeah. We're on men's snowboard Knuckle Huck, where Dusty Henrik took the cake. To be honest, I don't really like watching that event. There's a lot of. My viewing preference does not include doing a Tokyo drift on the edge of a quarter pipe, dropping in and doing a 180. I mean, I know it's fun, but it's not great for viewers.
I will agree with you strongly on the Knuckle Huck event for the snowboards. There was a couple people. There was a couple people in the snowboard Knuckle Huck. Like I know snowboard Knuckle Huck isn't as serious as an event as a big air slope. But, like, there's a couple people that just literally were not even trying whatsoever and doing, like, straight airs and just, like, pissing off about being there. And it kind of takes, like, takes the pizzazz away from having an X Games Gold. I don't think an X Games Gold in Knuckle Huck should... I don't even know if it should really count, to be honest. Like, obviously, like, some people are doing some gnarly stuff, but, like... Yeah, so a lot of people just half-assed it. Like, a lot of people half-assed it. And I get it if you're there to have fun and stuff, but, like...
Well, it's a different event. Like, I feel like it would be really fun to be a rider in that contest, but it's
like,
not great for viewers in that sense.
Well, it would be great for viewers if you did, like... even if you want to have fun and just do funky, weird things, go for it. But doing, like, straight airs over the knuckle and, like 180s, like a foot over the knuckle. Is it, like...
Zero spin to the bottom, like Josie Wells?
Yeah. But, like, just, like not even trying in the Knuckle Huck is kind of, like, not really dope for the viewers, especially people that don't know the sport. There was one guy, who was it? It wasn't, trying to think of who it was. He sent a straight air to the bottom, like, to the tranny first hit. It was hilarious.
That was so funny. He just came in with more than adequate speed, and just launched off the knuckle and landed just flat. Like, it was the most absurd thing I've seen.
The very first guy from Snowboard Knuckle Huck just sends it straight to the bottom.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to gap the landing to flat, because he doesn't want to see that.
Exactly. Just straight to flat.
Respect.
Yeah. But other than that, it was good. I would say ski Knuckle Huck was even a little better in terms of, like, trick-wise. It was pretty good.
I saw Jasper switched up backflip.
Marcus Cleveland was spinning like a top, which is cool. I always think a snowboard Knuckle Huck or ski Knuckle Huck is kind of like more of a buttery and like innovative stuff than like let's do a dub 12 off the knuckle, but like it is still pretty gnarly to see.
Who won last year? The guy like sat down, did like a backflip off his back.
Did he win it?
I think so. I don't know. To be honest,
no. Zeb Powell. Zeb Powell won it.
When I think of snowboard Knuckle Huck, I think of Marcus Cleveland, where it does like a 7 to nose press or tail press or whatever. That is, in essence, what I think of when I think of snowboard Knuckle Huck. I know there's like cool stylish tricks, but to be honest, that one was... Marcus Cleveland's are just so gnarly, and he usually makes them look so good that it's just...
I honestly think...
In my opinion, that's a win. I don't know.
I honestly think that the knuckle was a little like hard to do big tricks off of this year, because I saw a lot of people that had big tricks in other Knuckle Huck events, like Norway and last year's X Games, that weren't able to pull them off, or were only doing it like Kobe Stevenson was trying to do like 540 in the switch sev, but like normally does switch cork sev, and he was only able to do like switch up on axis sev.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
What I see is like just a knuckle, no jump, just the most obnoxious knuckle they can build, and see what happens.
You could do a lot of stuff on a huge knuckle.
Yeah,
I would have to figure out what it is. Fabian Bosch did a pencil Hendrik Cork 10 off the knuckle, which honestly was meh. in my opinion.
Yeah, at that point.
I saw there's one guy from Quebec, Dylan Deschamps, that did one earlier this year at the Maximized Knuckle, which was super sick. But 5-inch was just missing a little bit of sty. Probably because he was front flipping off every single hit on the way into the Knuckle Huck. Dude, he front flipped on like the drop in where you take off, went up the quarter pipe, the shark fin on the one side of the slope, did a switch front flip in there, comes back down, front flips, and then does another one. And he also did a double front flip too.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Quinn Wolfman did do a triple front flip in men's big air.
We will talk about that right now. Let's move on to men's big air, because men's big air was probably the most probably the gnarliest event that I've. Not the gnarliest.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was the gnarliest big air event. It was one of the gnarliest big air events.
I would not say it was the gnarliest big air event. To be honest, it disappointed me a little bit.
There was a couple gnarly tricks, but it was still.
I don't know why, but I was not impressed with men's big air this year. I was looking forward to it because they took out spin right and left, so I was hoping there'd be some real gnarly stuff. And I mean, there's some big stuff.
Dude, I mean,
I feel like it was missing a lot of heavy hitters like Burke Rudd and Fabian Bush are like, oh, yes, I'll do a triple cork 1980, or oh, let me just wind up a dub bio 1800, or like.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people like want to keep it like more stylish in skiing, but also it is big air, and I do want to see gnarly tricks like that. I like creative tricks, I like stylish tricks, but like also you gotta have a sprinkle of gnarliness. Burke Rudd didn't compete because he got COVID.
Yes. Also, men's snowboard slope was ruined with COVID. Max Perro, Mark McMorris. Like, we lost the whole Canadian men's slope team, and the first time since 2007 or 2009 that a men's U.S. citizen has won men's snowboard.
And it was
slope.
Dusty Hendrickson, the guy that won Knuckle Huck. Dude, the funny thing about him...
17. That's
dude,
wild,
he was
man.
competing at the Rev Tours I was at last year. He was at the Rev Tours for snowboard, like when we were there competing last year, and he was competing in it. And, like, obviously he was doing very good in them. But, dude, he just won X Games. 2 events in X Games. Only 2 he entered.
It's wild, man, honestly.
Super wild.
What else did we miss here? Well, we
missed men's big air. We didn't touch on men's big air enough.
We also didn't touch on women's ski superpipe or men's superpipe.
Yeah, we'll move on to those. Let's do men's big air still. We're on the topic. Men's big air. So, obviously... I mean, I've heard some rumors. I don't want to be the guy to break the news, but Henrik was pretty bummed on his scores and didn't compete in slopestyle because of that.
Breaking the news. There's a whole article where he talks about how butthurt he was that his dub bio 16 scored better than his switch dub 18.
Yeah, I mean, I read it, but like, dude, that's
a very, very valid point. I mean, a dub 16 is not as hard as a switch dub 18,
and it shouldn't score like higher, but like also, it's not why you should like ditch out a slope or like because there's so many people that
7
yeah, there's like so many people that really are like
just wanted to watch him ski. Like, I wanted to see what he could do on that course, and I understand it's frustrating when judging doesn't go well, but I mean,
it's a judge sport. Like, it's a
judge sport. Exactly.
Like, yeah, you have your own opinion of what's sick, and the judges have their own opinion too. I understand style's a different thing, but also when you do look at like the difficulty of the tricks, like when you have to sit there at a judge's standpoint.
He didn't do a triple cork 12.
He didn't do
or a triple cork 1980.
He didn't do hard enough tricks that are gonna win you an X Games big air, because like there's even people in Quebec like Edouard Theriault that I know is super sick. He did a switched up bio 18 safety just like Henrik's earlier this year, and it was stomped and it was on a smaller jump, half the size. Nobody even knows who he is. There's kids doing like way gnarlier shit than switched up bio 18s. And, like, I know that's, like, not where a lot of people want to see the sport going, but, like, yeah, when you really sit down as a judge and look at the difficulty, like, hate him or love him, Andre Brigetley did a triple cork 1900 with a perfect mute grab, which is
I don't really care about that.
It's insane.
I don't like Andre, to be honest with you. And the triple cork was sick, but, I mean, it's not the first triple cork 19 we've done. What really was impressive was that he did a triple cork 12.
That was sick, yeah.
That was impressive.
You know what was funny? He did it right. Quinn Wolfman did his dub 9 pretzel, and then Andre Gelly showed him up so hard. It was kind of a douchey move on his part, but
that
it was
impressive.
hilarious.
Other than that, ABM switched dub 14 octograb to other octograb.
That was a highlight for me. That was a huge highlight.
I was really pissed with Antoine Aldiz's second place.
I don't think Antoine Aldez should have got second place.
He should have been in 6th, to be honest.
His triple 16 mute got scored higher than a lot of things that it shouldn't have got scored higher than. And I can see why that can come into play when you're like somebody like Henrik. Like, it's a stock triple cork 16. Like, a switch dub bio 18 is a little different and unique. But his switch triple nose, I know why he gets scored well, but he's done it so often and so much. It's like,
that's one thing.
It's time to move on to something else. Like, we get it, you can do this trick, it's cool, but like, you can't keep using it. Yeah.
If you looked, I think this is kind of what really disappointed me the most, and the only reason I think Andre Rigetti should have won is because I'm going to ring through here. There was 8 athletes, all right? Quinn Wolferman unfortunately got last, which
was expected.
I really liked watching him ride.
So sick.
Kind of bummed.
So sick.
But let's ring through here. Andre Rigetti did new stuff, got first. Antoine Aldiz has been doing the same shit for 4 years. Alex Hall, with his switched up 14, 16, 18, whatever you want to do with his one grab, same shit. Seen it a million times.
Wait. He did add the dub 16 nose.
Yeah, the dub 16 nose. That's why I think he should have got third.
But it also scored really well because it was something different that he hasn't done. It was a dub 16 nose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's worthy of third place, in my opinion. Absolutely. But that was one trick, and then the rest was all the other stuff. ABM has been doing switched up 14s in men's big air since about 2014.
Yeah. The Octo transfer was sick. I'll admit
that. He did that last year.
He did bow to Octo.
Last year, he did bow to Octo, or maybe...
Bow to Octo instead of Octo to other Octo. But yeah, it's just a grab combo, but it's still sick.
Yeah, it's still sick. I don't want to be like come across like I'm dissing stuff. I'm just talking about like
in terms of learning new things.
It's supposed to be the pinnacle of the sport in terms of gnarliness in the sport. So like I said, Andre did some new stuff. Antoine Aldiz has been doing the same shit with his pre-nose for a while, and all he did was a triple 14 or 16, which is now like a NORAM level trick. Like, it's not
for big air. It is, yeah, dude, yeah.
Alex Hall, yes, the dub cork 16 with the nose grab, probably one of the sickest tricks in big air.
No one's ever seen that before.
No. ABM, I love watching him ski. His style is on point, but in terms of progression of the sport, it's the same thing. Evan, switched dub 18, that's been going on since 2019, and his triple 16 isn't new. Penny, on his same stuff. I mean
he did his first switch dub bio 18, but like,
that's huge, but it was with a safety grab, and Evan did a switch dub cork 18 with a lead blunt. Like,
yeah,
that's, and Evan got ahead of Henny by like one place, right?
It makes sense.
Woodsy's been doing the same tricks for 4 years.
Woodsy didn't bring out anything new today.
He did a triple 14, a dub 16, and a switch dub 14.
Super
gnarly tricks.
His dub 16 left a lot.
Level tricks.
His dub 16 left a lot to be. Was lacking a lot, and his triple was lacking a lot in terms of boot grab and a dub 16 mute. Like, man, I roll up to the hill in Whistler on like there's like 5 kids that are like not even competing in NORAMs yet. They can do dub 14s now and 16s. Like, it's just not gonna cut it.
If you're gonna want to do like. That's the thing. Like, what are you going to do to set yourself apart from 12-year-olds? Is the sport just basically you have a name for yourself, even though you're no better than a 15-year-old who's riding a
It is, like, and it is a lot. It is. We have to take into fact that X Games is a show, and it's not FIS. It's not. You're not there to be the best. Like, it is supposed to be the highest level, but it's also like who brings in the biggest draw, who's the most entertaining as well, is something that they personally take into account, which is. Like, and it is good to see people like Woodsy and stuff competing again in the events, but they're just like, it's sad to say, but dude, it's hard to keep up nowadays. It's really hard.
I'm not trying to come across like, I could do better. Absolutely not. Like, I love watching Woodsy ride. All these guys are much better. I'm just talking about strictly from someone who understands the sport and who has been there to the progression and watching how it's really hard to keep moving a sport along the way skiing has been progressing at this rate.
Well, because people are just going to get hurt.
Exactly. It's so dangerous. And the rapid, like, for God's sake, Natiage Unicorns doing switch quads, nose butter, dub 18s. Like,
nose butter, triple corks like it's nothing.
Whack stuff that is just really pushing the sport. And he's what, 16, 17?
17 probably now, yeah.
17? Like, and he's not an X. Like, you gotta, X Games is just, what's happening is we're all seeing this stuff on social media where you're like, oh, that was so gnarly, and it's sick. And then you go to X Games and it's like, oh, well, this is the same thing that I saw 2 years ago.
Yeah, or this is less than
as everything else is moving.
Yeah, like or the things at X Games are like not as gnarly as half the things I see on my X Game, or not half the things. I would say like some of the things I scroll through my feed just from like other skiers in other parts of the world. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of young talent out there that's coming up, and I think maybe it's the passing of a torch on the new generation, but like, yeah, it is gnarly for sure. I guess we'll move on from that.
I think this X Games, we got to keep in mind too with COVID, was just missing a lot of athletes. Like Torrin wasn't there in slope. We were missing. Like,
Was Torrin gonna do slope?
Or pipe, sorry.
Pipe,
Torrin
yeah.
didn't do pipe. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
I don't think he could have competed in pipe this year. Nico had it in the bag no matter what.
Oh yeah. If you want to move on to men's.
Yeah, let's move on to men's
absolutely.
pipe.
Nico deserved that one with the back-to-back dub 16s was unreal.
Dude, back to a dub 16 in the pipe in a run alone is insane. A dub 16 in the pipe alone is insane.
Yeah.
Back-to-back dub 16 in the pipe is like so gnarly, dude. Think about what the guys are putting on the slope course. The biggest back-to-back trick was switch 14 to switch 12.
Switch 12, right?
Switch 12.
To be honest,
Switch 14 to switch 12. Nico in the pipe did both ways 16s back to back.
If you want to talk about jumps, the jump layout on slope this year
was not
really
bad.
Brought down the level of progression,
which is good.
Two medium-sized jumps and two shark fins.
And I enjoyed that.
Which I really did enjoy it. I'm not dissing it, but nobody's doing like, oh, I'm gonna do a dub 12 to a switch dub 14 to a switch triple 16 to a forward triple 16. Like there was or switch dub 16, whatever. There was no like.
Which I think is kind of the reason why they made the course like that. Yeah. Is part of the reason they're like we need to like slow down the progression a little bit, which is fine. But I think some of the like there just wasn't a lot of really burly things that I saw. Nothing that really stood out to me.
Layout, I would have done one jump, shark fin, big jump. Like,
that'd have been
they
sick.
didn't have a one big booter, which is what everyone likes to watch. Is what are you gonna do on the big air? Like I know there's big air and slope, but you had two not really small, but smaller jumps.
Yeah.
Like a snowboarder can triple it. It's a lot harder to get a skier to triple a jump than a snowboarder can triple.
Yeah, and back to pipe, it was pretty sick. Like pipe was pretty gnarly. I like every time I watch pipe, every X Games comes around, I watch it and I'm like, holy shit, this is the gnarliest aspect of freestyle skiing. I never really like feel that way until I watch it and like really watch the X Games pipe, and I'm like, holy hell, that's gnarly.
I kind of like the podium or the results this year.
I had no problem with it.
If you look at it in the past, let's start at the bottom. 8th place, Noah Bowman. Pretty bummed. I really like watching him.
He didn't land a run though.
Very unique style. He didn't really land a run.
He has sick style. He didn't land a run, I don't think.
Really like watching him. Alex Fiera got 7th. He was last year's gold medalist, I think.
Yep. He landed a run, maybe?
He did land a run.
Yeah.
He did his famous,
Yeah, he did his pole swing. That's like, man.
Yeah, Gus Kenworthy 6th, David Wise 5th. So those three from 7th to 5th are usually your podium guys, like heavy hitters. And then we move up. Brendan McKay got 4th.
Brendan McKay, dude, I was really hyped for him. I was like hoping for him to crack like the 3rd place, but he just didn't have the difficulty to do it.
Yeah, and then you got Burke Irving.
Yeah.
Definitely, he's just younger in terms of.
He's been out there for a while. He's been killing it.
He has, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, that's someone else. Anyway, then Blanc 2nd. Yeah, I don't know if he had a good run, but I don't know if it was 2nd place.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But
two dubs on the skier's left wall. He did dub 12 to dub or 14 to 12, whatever it was. But and then Nico obviously 1st place was well deserved.
With the 6 back-to-back 16s, yeah, that got me really high.
Like Nico, Aaron, Berg, and Brennan are not usually your podium.
No,
which was nice.
Nico's sometimes up there, but like, yeah.
He got 3rd in the Olympics 2016.
Yeah.
So.
And then women's halfpipe.
Your winner this year was Aline Gu.
That was the first time Cassie Sharp hasn't won in a long time, isn't it? And she actually, we were talking about it. This was the first year in a while we've seen her add some new tricks to her pipe bag, with a cork 12, which was super gnarly and super sick, by the way. Obviously, she did her cork 12, and then the rest of her run wasn't really up to par with what would have copped to 1st place. 2nd run, I think she was probably her 2nd, 3rd run, I don't know, was probably trying to up the rest of the tricks in the run after the 12, and she just got wrecked on the 12 and wasn't able to do it. Eileen Gu literally landed every single pipe run that night perfectly, and Dude, she had good enough pipe tricks for sure to take first. She was clearly the better pipe skier out of all of them, which is really incredible considering she hasn't been skiing pipe up until this year. I don't think. Like, not competing it.
A good foundation, you can cross it over. And
yeah, for sure.
Rachel was third, which is we got 2 Canadians. Zoe Adkin, to be honest, I didn't watch the event, so.
Yeah, Zoe Adkin didn't really bring anything super to the table.
I don't really know who she is. I haven't seen any of her really runs before. I mean, I know who Devin Logan is and Annalisa Dribrita because they've just been in the game longer.
What else do we have on the radar? Because we covered pretty much all of it now. We're missing.
We're missing women's ski slopestyle.
Women's ski slopestyle? Yeah, we can cover that. All right, you beautiful specimens. So at this point, obviously, the audio and camera died. Not my fault, but it is my fault. I don't know. I just need a better podcast setup. We were talking about women's X Games Slope. Women's X Games Slope, what we basically discussed was it was really sick. It was a good event. I think only Eileen Gu really pushed the difficulty and was pushing the barrier. She had a really good run. 9s, switch Misty 9s, different axes, different variations of grabs, really good rails. Some of the other girls, all the other girls just didn't even come close. It was like watching Amanda Nunes just beat every girl up in the UFC. The level of difficulty of tricks just wasn't there for a lot of them. I know speed might have been an issue, but there was a lot of 360s and 540s. And in my opinion, in X Games Aspen in 2021, especially for girls, it just doesn't cut it. You can't be doing 3s and 5s at this level. I know that it's harder with shark fins and stuff, but it's at the level now where you need to take it a step above that. And obviously, a lot of these girls have tricks to take a step above it. I think maybe a little more competition, a little more people like Eileen Gu pushing that barrier and making it to a point where you either step up or you fall behind is gonna increase maybe the level of competition a little bit over the next couple of years, but we'll have to see. After that, talked about men's slopestyle, and this one I'm not gonna go into a whole lot of detail on because I know me and Pat went into a lot of detail on this. I can't remember everything, but basically what we were saying is it was a gnarly event. Obviously, the level of tricks weren't like insane. There's no triples, obviously. Well, I guess yeah, there was triples. It just wasn't like the gnarliest slope course and slope runs that I've ever seen, and that's because of the shark fins. And that is something I like, actually. I think like because I was thinking about it from now, like 10 years, 5 years from now. If you don't add features like shark fins to kind of lower the amount of tricks and stuff, or the level of tricks you can do and stuff, people are going to be doing quads. Like it's like linking quads and slope runs. It's going to be insane. And that when you're doing tricks like that, like there's no room for error, and there's going to be people getting hurt everywhere. So I think it's a step in the right direction. It was very good to see. Mr. Nick Epper won. He should have won, in my opinion, and Pat's opinion. We think he had the best run. He had Nick Epper has a really like clean style. He doesn't really have a flavor. It's kind of like a comp style, but it's really clean, and his rail game was insane. Like the tricks on the rails were the hardest ones done. Maybe not the most creative, but again, comp point wise, definitely the hardest rails. Jumps, very clean, really good rails, all directions, all ways, doubling every feature, and doing it very, very well. He should have won. Ferdy, I think Ferdy got second, I believe. I have to this is a month ago, guys. But Ferdy's run, I think, was very, very, very good. His last hit on the shark fin, the switch on that dub bio 12, I believe, on the shark fin was the best trick of that entire event, in my opinion, of men's slopestyle. His rails were more creative than everybody else's, and it was really good to see. I think he fell a tiny, tiny bit short of Nick Epper, but not by much. Evan McEachran had some really sick runs, and obviously we didn't see Henrik in there, and Quinn Wolferman was in slopestyle. He obviously, I know he didn't get enough training on the course because he was an alternate, so he probably didn't get a lot of training at all. He didn't have the degree of difficulty to compete with these guys, but I think most of us knew that at this point. He's not really known for doing triple corks and stuff. He's more known for his style and filming. And don't get me wrong, the guy can put together an insane comp run. It just wasn't his day. And Andre Rigetti, this is the story I wanted to talk about. I personally think his run should have been a lot higher than it was. He had a really, really sick run, in my opinion. Obviously, a lot of people have their quarrels about Andre Rigetti or whatever you want to say. I think his comp run was very, very well done. He had really good rails, really technical jumps, different axes on the jumps, and probably some of the heavier jumps. The only thing that I could have seen them getting docked on was that dub 14 tail at the bottom. It looked like he might have whiffed the grab, but then I went back and watched it, and it looked like it was pretty clean. So I think he got fifth with that run. I think I would have put him in either third or fourth with that run. But then again, this is why it's a judge sport, and this is why you hate it or love it. It's not like you have a choice to leave it up to the judges or anything like that. You really have to figure it out and just hope for the best. It's a judge sport. Everybody else has different opinions. I have a different opinion than some judges. Some judges have a different opinion than me. People have different opinions than me. It just is what it is with this. Anyways, with that being said, I just wanted to wrap this all up for you guys. Wrap this up. Ugh, tired. But yeah, this is this episode of the podcast. If you guys enjoyed it, please stay tuned to the next episodes and stuff, because I promise you they'll be getting better. This one, like I said, was on the road. So audio, camera quality, as you guys can see if you watch the visual, I'm literally sitting on a bed. It wasn't ideal, but we're getting it all dialed in very soon. And I'm really, really excited about bringing these podcasts to the next level and, taking it like everything we do. We're taking it to the top. Yeah, I don't like being at the bottom, so we're going to be top. Or being on bottom. Most guys don't like being on bottom. But, there are some of us as well. Anyways, with that being said, I love you guys. And, like and subscribe to the podcast. Leave a review if you liked it. And we'll see you in the next episode, you little Rams.